the great Sandra Smith, co-anchor of America Reports on Fox News.
Best introduction I've ever had. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. As always, we love having you.
Well, you've got the ear of Kristen Sinema, so what are you saying next?
I'm going to give her credit because the CapEx investment tax, the so-called minimum corp tax, that would have been the economically worst thing. Okay. So I'm just saying this whole thing could have been worse, but it ain't very good anyway. Here's my, Sandra. This will not increase Democrats' popularity. It's not going to help them in November. They're still spending, social spending, fossil fuel warfare, and there'll be assorted taxes still left in this thing. I mean, my question to you is, does this do anybody any good? That's my question. It's kind of
I think that's a fair question. I think it's one that the White House is struggling to answer right now. I'm thankful that the White House deployed Jared Bernstein on a big jobs report today. The White House taking a victory lap, to your point. Great news for the American economy, getting people back to work. Happy to see that. Can dig into the job participation rate in a minute if you want. I mean, because we're still seeing that it fell for a third straight month. You need to see everybody back to work, looking for work if they're not in a job, to really see a robust jobs recovery. That being said, if Jared Bernstein or this economic team at the White House or the president himself came out and said, this inflation act meant to bring down these high prices that everyone is suffering through every day. Go into middle America, go down the street, talk to the low middle class. The number one conversation is inflation right now. They're struggling to pay their bills. Some people are working 2 jobs just to pay for this. If they would set out to sell this and back it up with data and something in that bill that actually tamed prices and said that it's going to bring down inflation 5% below wage growth, so that we're going to bring those prices down and all those people who are going back to work are going to see their wages going up more than inflation, say a 5-point drop in inflation, we would be listening and we would be cheering that on. That's not the case. I had the opportunity to ask Jared Bernstein, economic advisor to the president, about that today on our show earlier. And by some estimates, he said, when I asked how much it'll bring inflation down, he suggested 1/3 of a point. I mean, that's not going to really help anybody.
By the way, Jared's an old friend of mine.
I know, and you've always said
he's a really good guy, but he's not just, we disagree on policy and politics. Let me ask you this. Step back for a second. Does anybody think we needed any more spending? See, in this bill, and I'm going to combine this bill with the CHIPS bill, okay? There's $950 billion.